this computer. Hello, everyone. My name is Ned Dennison. I'm the chairperson of the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. It's my great pleasure to have Stephen Redmond, an honorary swimmer in our hall. He was the first swimmer to complete the Ocean 7 challenges in his 40s between August 2009 and July 2012. English Channel in 20 hours and 1 minute, North Channel 17 hours and 17 minutes, Strait of Gibraltar, Catalina Channel, Cook Strait, Molokai Channel in 22 hours and 29 minutes, in Tsugaru Channel. The journey included 4 serious setbacks, conditions 1 in his first attempt at Molokai and his first 3 attempts at Tsugaru. Steve, say hello to everybody.
How's it going out there? Good to hear you. Good to see you.
Steve, you had a few sponsors along the way, including a famous collaboration with Red Bull, the energy drink. How did these happen, and how much did you have to change as their public spokesman? I mean, let's be serious, you swear less now than you used to.
It came about very strangely with a German journalist who lived in Skibbereen, who worked for the Spiegel, who was friendly with one of the guys in Red Bull Media. And he got us in touch. He got in touch with them in Germany, and that's really how they came. Well, they came over to do a video, kind of half-hour show about what we were doing and the film, the swims, and go to Japan with us. And that's really basically where it was. And it was very difficult, as you know, Ned, having a camera jammed in your face all the time and things going horribly wrong, and you're there trying to be really nice and not curse too much, you know, and look at the beautiful sea out there and 10-foot waves crashing over piers and things like that, and trying to keep the bright side out. But they, you know, it was funny. We got on really well with them. You know, they were all German guys, and they were all really into it, and they suffered alongside us on the trip. You know, they came down to Loch Eyn, and it poured rain. I mean, biblical stuff. And they were on cameras and soaked to the skin for around 2 days. That stuff never dried out again, I wouldn't think. Cameras had to be replaced and things like that. And so they, you know, they really got into it. And they were staying with this German guy out in Towhead, and they'd go home and shoot rabbits for dinner. I kid you not, this is what they were aiming to do. And you know, with filming, 5 minutes of filming a day takes 15 hours of work. So they really put some time in. And yeah, Red Bull were really good. They couldn't have, you know, we couldn't have done it without all this help from everybody. And that was the big thing, you know. There was a collaboration, and no one took over completely. Like, Red Bull helped, and they went as far as they could. And one of my favorite pictures is the Last Supper picture in Japan. And I put that up every now and again with the 7 of us sitting under a banner. All of us, Brown is destroyed because he got burned to 3rd-degree burns in the sun the day before with the American guy. What's his name? That swam at, gosh almighty, he was over there at the same time as us. He did the Ocean 7 as well. And everybody else is in despair. We were after failing 13 hours, and the producer has his head in his hands, and we're sitting in a foyer, we're watching these Japanese get excited about a train coming through a tunnel around 200 feet below us. Every time it come through the tunnel, it would blow beep its whistle, and the Japanese would go absolutely crackers in this huge foyer. I kid you not, that was the highlight of every night in this hotel. You think I'm kidding? I swear to God, they suffered, and they were really great, you know. But it was difficult going from being alone to having groups of people around you asking questions. And, you know, when is it, you know, instead of me asking Noel or looking at weather apps, there was 20 people looking at weather apps and 10 people asking the skipper. And, you know, that was difficult, you know, trying to keep everybody on board and trying to keep everybody happy. And sometimes it didn't work, you know, and that was just the way it was. You know, everybody was there for a purpose, though, you know, and they made a really good documentary, I think, you know.
Now, Steve, we have a lot of different kinds of honorees in the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. A lot of the swimmers were champions at age 10. They went to the Olympics. They're unbelievably fast. For people listening, on a 25 kilometer swim, you would not be able to swim with these guys for 200 meters. They're that fast. Now, you on the
I
other
hate
hand,
them guys.
you at the other hand at the Wowza conference in the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame ceremony in Cork, Ireland in 2013, you described yourself as driftwood fast. Now, first of all, Steve, I've swum past driftwood and I've swum past you. And I have to say that driftwood gave me a better race. Have you gotten any faster in these last couple of years?
Slower, sir. Slower I'm going now, you know. I'm gliding now, you know. There's a lot of gliding involved. No, I don't know. I look at the times from 3 or 4 years ago and I think I'm going slower. I don't know. It's difficult to say. You know, you try and change something every year, like, you know, and then I see, is it 2,000 or 3,000 or 5,000 laps you've done now of your island? You know,
3,000 yesterday.
3,000 yesterday, man. You know, I've done three laps on that island.
In fairness, Steve, it's a challenging swim.
It's a challenging swim to getting up there. Trying not to get. If I told my wife, "Oh, I'm popping up to Kinsale to have a swim," you know, she'd say, "You know, you've only got 60 miles of water to drive by before you get there." You know, so that's the reason why I've only got 3 done. But yeah, it's. I don't think when you get to, I forget about age anyway, Ned. That's what you've got to do. Like when you see what you're doing and what other swimmers are doing every day, quietly in their own way. Age, this is the brilliant sport for that kind of thing. Age means nothing. And you can succeed where a young guy with a dumb haircut and 190s or 120, 100 meters fails, because me and you and everybody else kind of has the experience of the pain of failing and the pain of the solitude and the pain of having to get out. And, you know, we understand that the pain is coming, whereas a young guy, he wants to do it fast. Times are everything to these guys. I sometimes think, and I don't really care. To me, it's just getting in the water and going out there and being with the water and letting the water keep me alive for 10 or 20 hours. That's really where I go.
Steve, you have a new book out on the Fastnet Rock. So first thing I'd like you to do is move out of the screen for a second so we can see the Fastnet behind you.
Where is the Fastnet?
The Fastnet is described as the southernmost part. You can come back now, Steve. The southernmost part of Ireland. It's a small rock which at high water is basically submerged. And at low water, you've got the site of Steve and the Fastnet. It's called the Teardrop of Ireland because for immigrants going to the United States, it was typically the last thing they might see of you know, their homeland. Tell us about your initial experience with the Fastnet, and I'll tee you up on one thing. The first time I saw the Fastnet, I saw it from the road in West Cork, and it looked like a chess pawn out in the ocean.
Yeah.
And I went out there in a boat one time, and it still looked like a chess pawn until I got about a half a mile away, and then all of a sudden, it was big.
Yeah.
Tell us about looking at it and dreaming and wondering how did this come to be so important to you?
Well, it's strange, Ned, because you probably don't remember, but the very first, we were having a party down here for my kids when they were 7 or 8 years of age, and a friend of mine's house way over near the Fastnet. You can see the Fastnet from his house. I can only see the light from my place. And I was asking his father-in-law and his uncle about swimming out there, and they were salmon fishermen. And we had a decent night's drinking, you know, and the boys had a rib, and we said, look, we'll go out there the next day and have a go. And we got as far as Long Island, the light beacon on Long Island. And that took us around 8 hours, and I nearly died because I was dehydrated from alcohol. But I rang you that next night, and that was the very first swim we done, long swim we done. And since then, it has been a permanent obsession, you know, and a permanent obsession to get other people to swim it, you know, because it's the best water, one of the best swims I've ever done. And we used it as a training swim for the 6 hour swim for the English Channel. And it's very strange. Lots of guys, the guys that we asked for the tide were on they actually work on the lighthouse, you know, we asked them about the tide details, and we got all our information from fishermen and locals. And this is how it built up. And we did a 6 hour swim, and my father-in-law died that night, you know, for the English Channel. That was my first 6 hours, so I could do the English Channel. So it's really locked in completely into my psyche. And we did 2 training swims because we were heading down to Cook Straits, and the water is very light. Cook Straits, New Zealand water up here. And we decided we'd try Baltimore Fastnet Skull, and we 2 of them done. And John Connie was the boatman on it, and Kieran Collins was the second man on it. And it just opened up as a swim, and it's, as I say, when it gets dark at night, the light comes in through the window of the house, so it's a permanent in my life, and I can see it coming home. And only when you get out there, as you say, you realize how far out it is, and then you say, "What an idiot you are! What the hell are you thinking?" Like, you know, because you're nearly at, you can look over, you can see Goleen just to the right, and you look to the left, you can see nothing. But that's really where it came from, and it's kind of sprung another life of its own. We had a girl in the water today swimming. She didn't make it. She's going again on Thursday. We have a guy coming in the water tomorrow, and we had an American last week or the week before who broke the record, the time record on it. As I say, these 27-year-old guys can move, man. I didn't even go out on the boat because I'd get depressed looking at him, like, you know. But he did it in, I think, around 5:40. Jesus.
Fast forward for you, Steve. About right after that swim, I swam with Suzanne Heim Bowen in San Francisco on a night swim from Alcatraz. She had the record. And then I congratulated him in the sauna at the South End Rowing Club the next day. So I'm all over this. I wanted to let people know your record for Fastnet. You were the first one to swim from Fastnet to Baltimore, the small town, 20 kilometers, we call it, in 2009. You then went the other direction, Fastnet to Skull, 18 kilometers. You were the first to do that. Then you did this kind of an amazing swim where you started in Baltimore, went around the Fastnet Rock and into Skull, 39 kilometers. You did that in 2011 and 2012. And then you went from Baltimore trying to hit the Fastnet in 2018, which you did. Some of the older viewers might remember the tragic sailing race where a number of boats from England, they sail out around the Fastnet and back. And, you know, huge storm, and a lot of people lost their lives. So it's a kind of it can be quite a nasty place out there. Tell us about the book, Steve. How did it come about? Had you copious notes and you got somebody to help you put them into proper Queen's English, or what happened here?
Well, you know, after every swim, Brown and myself and the skippers that did speak English would debrief, and we take notes when we were away, and then on the plane journeys back, we would tap it into a computer, and you have 20 or 30 pages of the swim alone, you know, and then it became, you know, I wanted to keep a log of it, just of the journey, in case anybody wanted help, that I could go back and look at, well, this is what we did, so don't bloody do that, do something different, like, you know, because we made an ass of it, you know, but that kind of way. And that's how it come about. And I had all this stuff on the computer, a laptop here, and the laptop was getting old, and my daughter says, put it onto a new computer and download it. And she said, well, she looked at a few of these because she's doing journalism herself, and she looked at a few of the chapters, and she said, well, this is really good. But after the 7 was completed, we had all this done. We got an agent, never came about. I don't know whether he hit the beer or he joined a monastery or some bloody thing. I'm not honestly sure, but it went around 3 years, and I got a guy to edit it. Nothing seemed to occur, so it was kind of gone. The interest was gone, so we left it and moved on to the Fastnet. But we kind of collaborated the 2 swims, the 2 books together. And I got Morris Sweeney, the guy that edited it, who reckoned it was like War and Peace. The repetition was incredible in the edit. It took him around 2 years to edit the bloody thing. And Marie O'Mahony, she kind of put it into timeline, so it makes sense. So they tell me it's a good read, you know, it puts people to sleep after the 2nd paragraph, you know, it's knocking people out. So if you have problems sleeping, they reckon it's a brilliant thing, you know. If you're worried about a swim, read the first half page and you're out cold, you know. But that's how it came about, really. It wasn't, you know yourself with swimming, you're not really there to make money, you're there to see if you can do it, you know. And if we make 10 or 20 euros out of this, I'd be quite happy, you know. The money is not a thing, but it is nice to have it there now in a physical form instead of having it in the computer or lost forever. And I got some a lot of cursed text, very bad language text yesterday about Father's Day presents. You know, a lot of fathers were getting it yesterday and they're saying, what kind of bastard present is this to be getting? So it's good to have it there, Ned. You know yourself, you should be on your 5th book by now. You know,
so
I'm sure you have the notes.
I was fortunate enough to be at Lynn Cox's book presentation and signing at the South End Rowing Club. She's got 14 or 18 weeks across the United States of book signings, may go internationally. I see that you've been to 2 pubs. Do you have bigger plans to promote your book, Steve?
Well, I'm coming to the edge and going to the edge and Vibes and Scribes as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm starting small, so world domination, as you know, takes time, you know. But trying to get out of West Cork is probably the hardest thing, and so we will work away at it. But I don't think we're going to have a nationwide book signing. I haven't got the face for it, sir. You know? And you know me trying to be nice to people. I'm a grumpy old bugger. It lasts for so long, and then I kind of lose control, and I have to get away. But we'll try get Cork done and then move on to the rest of the country slowly. I honestly, you know me, when was that was my first book launch I was at, my own book. So I don't really know how you'd go about these things. So we're learning as we go, but it is nice to put it out there and let people see it's there. And if anyone can take something out of it when they're doing these other channels and find these skippers that we all know, because you know yourself, everybody is linked with the open water. Everybody, like a guy can ring me up from home. Ivan Sakagi, my skipper, rings me up most weeks and takes the piss out of the weather over here. Like, you know, he rings me up with a picture of where he's having a barbecue at a beach and there's trees blowing down the hill here with the wind, like, you know. So everybody is connected. So if anybody can help, Darren Miller, God damn it, Darren Miller was the guy in Japan, you know, and Noel went out and got destroyed, but Darren left all his gear first use on our swim, and you know, never asked for a penny for it. And we still have it here. So when he does eventually get back to Ireland, we're going to give it back to him in a big ceremony. All the flasks, everything. It was just a wonderful gesture, you know. So you know yourself, open water swimming is not might be, you know, times and I've done this and I've done that, but at the back of it, if anybody ever needs help, you just have to ask somebody, and it's given straight away. There's no question whatsoever. So
let's put you under pressure for a moment. Let's see how professional you are. Do you have a copy of the book right there that you can hold up?
Nope. I get one up. Hold on a second. I get one up. Jesus. God damn you, sir. Hold on. Bring one book up, please. Book. Can't spell book now. Stevie is bringing one up. No, I don't. And I'm not a big, as I say, I'm not a salesman. You know, so, if I ever, I'll sign it. If anybody wants it, I will sign it and send it to them.
Tell us about your relatively new Fastnet Swimming Association. Who's involved? How many swimmers you hope to entertain this summer?
Well, as I say, it kind of evolved from Noel Brown, Nathan Timmons, Kieran Collins, the skipper, Captain Black, Steve Black, who you all know, kind of all being involved in the Baltimore swimming pool, the Wild Atlantic Way, and we trained there in the winter, and it went on to the Fastnet then, you know, trying to open it up as a swim to rival English Channel, Straits of Gibraltar, and getting people down to West Cork to see the water we have here. You know, when guys come down here, they say, there's something about the water here, it's different, there's a power in it, it keeps drawing me back, it keeps pulling me back. And that's what the Fastnet is. When you get out there, it's completely different from any other day's swimmer. You know, a guy can come out, it's completely different from the day before, no matter if the sun is shining or it's pouring rain. It's a wild place, and it's the far side of the moon. It's the dark side of the moon for swimming, as far as I'm concerned, because every swim we do is completely different. And that's the same for everybody, but we're probably spoiled because you can come up against jellies, shark, blue shark out there, lots of whales, tons of dolphin, huge amounts of action in the water. You're completely open to the elements with the current and the Gasconon between the Sherkin and Cape. And, you know, we said, well, we have to open this up to people. And it's coming, it's, as I say, like every swim, it's taking on a life of its own now. We have two boats, Kieran Collins and Aqua Ventures. Like we had the day that the chap from San Francisco did break the record, there was two of them in the water at the same time that day. So it is starting to come about now. And it's probably, we're kind of lucky, as you know, when you say to somebody, oh, we'll come down to you, you know, they get to Cork and they get lost going to Kinsale and they give up the ghost trying to get to Skibbereen, you know, unless they know the way down here. My parents have been here twice in 20 years because they get lost every time they come down. They turn around and go back to Carlo. So we're kind of lucky to have this water down here, but we want other people down here. And we want the speed record. We want the guy to come down and go out and back. We want a ladies speed record, which we have. And it's just a wonderful swim, Ned. And you know what it's like out there. It's just, you know, you go out there and touch it and you can't go any further. You can't go any further.
I think it's worth mentioning for people that the open water swims give you surprises from time to time. The people who pilot the English Channel are real professionals who've been doing it for 10, 20 years. And they'll tell you that every 10 or 20 times they're out there, they get a surprise. The tide didn't follow what it was supposed to. There was a small storm in the Sea of Biscay, hundreds and hundreds of miles away, that had an impact on it. The Fastnet is located in a place called Roaring Water Bay, which would kind of tell you a lot. There are a number of islands, and the tide is squeezed between these islands. And some of the currents, you know, are just unbelievable. So it is a place where people get surprises. Steve, hold up the book if you could. The front cover, Steve.
There is the book now.
Hang on. You gotta stop moving. You gotta stop moving.
You're enjoying this.
Cannot see it. We cannot see it. I'll include a picture with the interview.
Jesus. What a swine. There you go. Hold on. It's coming up now.
There we go. We're almost there. Perfect. And the final question I have for you, Steve, is a lot of people will understand the joy they get from doing a swim. Tell us the feeling, the satisfaction you get for helping somebody do a Fastnet swim. What's it feel like? What do you get out of it?
Yeah, it's very strange, you know, because you think at the beginning it's the very same as you're swimming in the water. You think, will this guy make it or this girl make it? And you're there for 4 or 5 hours feeding him and timing his strokes or her strokes. And you come across the Gasconons. For instance, last year we had a guy in the water and he spent 3 hours in the Gasconons, which is the gap between Cape and Sherkin, 3 solid hours. And that's only 1.5 kilometers of a gap. He could not get out of the suck. And we did everything in our power to get him. And we finally took him due south away from it. It was the only way he had to swim 3K out to get out of the suck. But to see that guy coming up and standing where you've stood, and you know what it's like to stand in Baltimore and just let your hand wreck on the concrete, and the slip is coming up to meet you from the depths, and you're finally there, and to taste that water and to see your friends on the pier. And it's a unique second or a unique minute in your life that you've waited for all your life, and nobody else has it. You know, everyone on the boat is there and they've experienced it, and it's their moment, and nobody else in the world has it. You know, it's like you going down to Kinsale in the morning and you're looking out at the island. No one else can see that image except you, and that is yours. And so they take that away with them, and they can say to themselves, they can go and get the tattoo, they can do whatever they like afterwards, but that was my moment. No one else can take that from me. And that's what open water swimming is really about. You know, everyone, as you say, finds different things in the water, and they go so far, and it changes their lives. And they dip, they do whatever they need. They get in wetsuits, they get in the water, and that's what open water swimming is all about: finding what you want in the water and changing, because you come back different. we said to them, you will come back different from this swim. And they do. And that's what swimming is all about. Like you can do 1,000 more laps of Sandy Cove, and every one of them will be different from the last one. And that's the wonderful thing. Whereas running around a track in Cork City, it's the same as the last one, unfortunately, as far as we're concerned. But maybe we're biased because we know what we do is completely different from everything else in the world. That's the beauty of swimming for me.
Steve, I want to ask you one last thing, and I'll let you go. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. I want you to describe your training pool in Baltimore, Cork. This is the Olympic 50-meter pool with the diving tower and the spectator stands. Tell people the dimensions of the pool you folks train in.
It's a 16.5 meter. Now, that's not 17, it's 16.5 meter pool, which you can do in 11 strokes and turn, you know. So that'll tell you the insanity that ensues after a 3 or 4 hour swim in Baltimore. But without it, we would never have got our winter training in, because the nearest pool is Dunmanway, and that's a council-run pool, and they're having terrible problem staffing it. So half the time, unfortunately, it's closed. So we're very lucky to have it there, and we spend a lot of time every year fundraising and trying to keep it open, because, you know, unfortunately down where we are, it's GAA, more GAA. And if the pool closes, the pool will never open again. And you know what it's like in this country of short-sightedness. If they keep closing things and they never open again, and we've lost. So it's very precious to us and the people down there. So that's how we use it every winter. And we go down there, and you know, the screaming, the howling games that ensue when your first couple of sessions in a pool, like, you know, best to do by yourself, because you can't swim, you can't breathe, you're drowning, you're hitting the wall, you're smacking into each other.
Don't forget the chlorine gas. Don't forget the chlorine gas. The chlorine gases, yeah. People sitting in the jacuzzi laughing at you, Gary Minahan coming down taking pictures of you, you know. But it's fantastic thing to have for us. We couldn't do without it. And as I say, if it ever closes, we don't know what we'll do. But the only thing is that we spend a lot more time in the open water every year now. As you know, it's become quite normal to swim all year round. Unfortunately, I get stuck in basketball for the winter, changing kids' lives forever, coaching around 7 teams last year. So we drive kids and, you know, meet decent referees everywhere we go in Cork County, you know, and make friends and influence people. So this is what happens to you, you know. It's a very fast journey, Ned, isn't it? Like, did you think you would get here? I never imagined writing a book or ending up talking to you here. So, and we're not finished. That's the beauty of it. There's a long road to go, sir. We have other stupid things to do. It's just trying to keep up with everybody now and make time. Time is the biggest problem for every swimmer, I think. You know, finding that time to train and getting out there and getting your hours in and establishing it in your brain that you've done enough to do the stupid thing you want to do. That it's not stupid to you. That's where I go with it. And thank God we have Baltimore Pool. And as I say, I met Steve Black there, Kieran Collins, you and Jacob, all these guys that have kept the pool open over the years. And it's great. It's a small community. It may as well be an island community, because 70% of them go out to Cape Clear in the summer. And, you know, everybody comes to, an influx of people come to Baltimore. And so we're very lucky to have it there. And we're very lucky to have the people around us that we know. And you know yourself, it has exploded, really, open water swimming in the last 3-4 years. With the lockdown, it has become the perfect sport. And just the way it is. For instance, the book launch, Jackson and Raymond Seymour arrived over from LA for the book launch. You know, that will tell you the great people that we know. And to come all that way over just to see the book and take the piss out of me, you know, it was worth every penny, Raymond said, like, you know. All right, Steve, I'm gonna cut you there. I'm gonna stay on the line because we have some other things to talk about. But thank you very much, and all the best with the book. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers, Ned.